Are you looking for a really simple way to think about the golf swing? It can be super simple. All it really is two things. It's two movements, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So, what are those two movements? Well, in my opinion, the golf swing can be as simple as the body's turning and the arms are lifting. That's all we're going to talk about. Now, as simple as that looks, here are some things that golfers get wrong about thinking body turning and arms lifting. Let's say that you're someone who has a lot of body turn. Okay, we're just going to isolate the body for a second. Forget about the arms, okay? If the body turns too much while forgetting about the arms, some things can happen. Number one, we can get the arms going around the body way too much. So you can see here I've got really good body turn, but I don't have enough arm lift. So if this happens, what's going to happen is the club's going to go too far behind you, the arms are going to go too far across the body, and ultimately you're going to have a very flat golf swing, which is then going to lead to potentially, one, striking behind the golf ball too much because our path is too much from the inside, or two, a lot of golfers will, their brain will work out a way to try and figure out how to get this golf club back over the top. And that's what can be producing your pulls or your cuts or your slices. So we need to make sure that while our body is turning really well, we don't forget about lifting those arms. Now, the other thing that golfers get wrong is they forget about the body turn and they just lift the arms. So what you'll see here is if I forget about the body and I don't turn and I just lift my arms, obviously I'm not going to do that, but if I had just a little bit of body turn, let's call this not enough body turn for the amount of arm lift you've got, what's going to happen is you're going to get these arms going up, but the problem with this is you don't have enough turn to get the arms deep enough. So what we're now going to be, kind of left with is the arms have got no depth, which means it's going to be very difficult to shallow this golf club. So if the body starts to rotate on the way down, all you're doing is throwing this golf club over the top. It's going to have a really steep shaft. And then ultimately from there, you're going to cut across the ball. Maybe you'll pull it, maybe you'll slice it, etc. So what's the ideal amount of body turn and arm lift? Well, if you think about it like this, you want to maximize the amount of body turn that you get. So if we can rotate this body nicely, plus lift the arms along with that body turn, you're going to be left with a golf club and an arm structure that is pretty much ideal. So you'll see here that I've got really nice body turn, fully rotated, and you're going to see that my arms have an adequate amount of depth. So when I talk about depth, I like to just consider depth as where is the butt of my golf club pointing in relationship to my feet at the top of my golf swing. So think about it like this. If you don't have any depth, the butt end of the golf club would be looking either in front of the toe line or on the toe line. So if you can see this line right here, it's not quite on my toe line. A loss of depth or too much depth, and this is where the body rotates too much and the arms don't lift, what's going to end up happening is we're going to have too much depth where the butt end of the golf club is actually behind my heel line. So what is an adequate amount of depth? Well, if you did this drill correctly and you had enough turn and enough arm lift, you should see that butt of the golf club at the top of your golf swing. You should see the butt of the club kind of in the middle of your feet. I like to see it as a coach, basically on the trail ankle. So if I drew a line down from this butt end of the golf club, I'd like to see that butt end of the golf club and the trail ankle in one line. Sorry, butterfly got in my way. So if I was to rotate this body correctly and lift my arms, we get the best of both worlds. We get an adequate amount of depth to our arms, which means we can kind of hit any shot that we want. We're going to have more control over the golf club and then ultimately over where the golf ball finishes. So body turns, arms lift, and from here, you can choose to hit a draw by just feeling like this club shallows a little bit in transition. All of a sudden, we're going to have an into-out path. Or if you choose to maybe hit a fade, again, body turns, arm lifts, you can actually just feel like you kind of come over the top of it just a little bit. And then what's going to happen is on the way down, that club head's going to be slightly outside the hands in a really good spot to cut across that golf ball and hit a little bit of a fade. So I want you to feel like you're a little bit more neutral with your swing, as opposed to being someone who maybe doesn't turn the body enough and just lifts the arms. Again, you're really only going to hit one shot from here, and that's going to be a path that's out to in, again, causing pulls and slices because they come with that path and face combination. Or you're going to be someone like myself who gets quite a lot of body turn, but the arms get a little bit too flat. Now, again, you may get stuck behind this golf ball and get this golf club a little bit too far from the inside, suffer from slight fat shots, some blocks, and some overdraws. So I've got 3 golf balls here. The first golf ball I'm going to hit is basically just an arm lift. I'm going to reduce the amount of body turn that I get. We're going to check out what kind of path I've got, what kind of face I've got, and what ball flight comes out. Now, I've only got a 9-iron here. I've got a pretty short area to hit my golf ball, so a 9-iron is going to show us plenty of what curvature is going to happen. So let's give this a go. Not much body turn, just an arm lift. Let's see what this produces for me. Set up to the golf ball. Not much body turn, plenty of arm lift, no depth. Let's see what happens. So you can see there with that ball flight, so I cut across that a lot. My low point, if you look at this camera here, was really far in front of the golf ball. Now this is great if you're someone who's getting that club too far from the inside, but you could see that ball flight was just way too kind of left to right, bit skinny, didn't really hit it very well. Now let's go to another golf shot. Let's go too much body turn, not enough arm lift. We're going to have a lot of depth. And for this one, I'm going to either block it, most likely, because my path is going to be too far into out, or I'm going to overdraw it or hook it. So let's have a look at this. Again, too much body turn, not enough arm lift. We get the club way too far behind us. Let's have a look at this one. So you can see there, that ball's just taken off way too far to the right. You'll also notice on this camera here, no divot. No divot because I likely hit up on that golf ball as well. I wouldn't have had enough downward angle of attack. I was way too shallow. I struck it out of the middle of the club face. I've got a little bit of a mark here in the middle of my club face, but it wasn't a very good shot. It was a bit thin and the ball went well out to the right. Now for this final shot, I'm going to try and have an adequate amount of body rotation. I'm going to try and have an adequate amount of arm lift. For me and my personal feel, I need to feel like I lift my arms so much when I do this because you'll see my swing's quite flat. But here's going to be, in my opinion, I think this golf shot's going to be fairly straight. I'm going to connect with the ground a lot better. The ball flight's going to take off on my start line. The curvature's going to be much better. So let's give this one a go. Body turn, arm lift, so a little practice swing here. That's where I want to feel like I get to, and we'll hit this golf shot. So you can see there, I interacted with that ground perfectly. The ball took off on my intended start line and it didn't have any curve. It was dead straight. So that's why I'm an advocate for trying to be a lot more neutral with your swing, create enough body turn, create the most optimal arm lift. That's really all the golf swing is. So if you've been cluttered with a lot of swing thoughts and you're trying to do this with your right elbow and this with your lead wrist, just simplify it. Body turns, arms lift, and if you found this really helpful, you can work with me one-to-one. Obviously, I'm not saying that this is everything in the golf swing. We all have our individual tendencies that we do in our swing, and it may be a little bit more complex than that. But if you're someone with just so many thoughts in your head, body turns, arms lift. Check the link in the description. I've got my one-to-one coaching options available. I've got my academy available. My academy's full of videos for you to learn about your own golf swing. Hundreds of drills designed to help you specifically. So if you want to become a member of that academy, I'd love to see you inside. But if not, no problem. I hope this video helped you.